All right. Awesome. Well, it's so good to be here with you, Krisstina, and to have this conversation. I'm just going to open this up by talking about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So, Radiance Revolution it's essentially a movement, and it's starting with a program that I've created. I've been doing a lot of research and, figuring out what are the wants and needs of people who are struggling with limitation and lack, and really suffering unnecessarily. And in the light of disease and symptom, we know that all disease and symptom is triggered by some sort of stressor. Usually we think about, maybe some heavy metal toxicity, chemical toxicity, gut imbalance, or stress, just emotional stress. But what is that? Like, what is emotional stress? And I see layers and layers of that. In my research, a lot of what's come up is money and career and money health. And so Krisstina Wise is one of my coaches. She's a money and wealth expert. And she's really helped me shift my own internal paradigm around money in terms of mindset and in terms of systems, because, and really the energy around it, because you kind of need all three. So we're going to shine some light on limiting beliefs and fear, and just see in terms of money and wealth, like what we can unveil in terms of what's keeping us stuck. So, Krisstina, I'm just going to start firing away with some questions and just drop some knowledge on us. You're such an amazing woman, and you have a wealth of knowledge to share. So,
will do.
Yeah. So thank you for being here. The first question I have for you is: were you always knowledgeable and confident in the way that you spend and receive money? And if not, when and where did the most noticeable shift take place for you?
Yeah, no. One thing about money, it's really mythical in the sense that we think people just are naturally good with money. Money is actually it's applied knowledge. And what I mean by applied knowledge means it's knowledge based. It's something we have to learn. And then once we learn money, then we can apply the knowledge. But people just automatically think we're going to get good at money, we're going to get good at relationships, and we're going to be healthy and happy without learning anything and applying anything. Like, it doesn't work that way. And people will study all sorts of things, but one of the most important things in life to get good at is money. And it's the one thing people don't take the time to get good at, right? To learn, to study, and to apply. So that was my own thing early on, is that, I grew up very poor. So, I actually started in a trailer home. I carried a lot of shame for that for a long time. I didn't even admit that. For forever, up until, not too long ago, actually, a handful of years ago, when I just, let go of shame. But I was so ashamed that I even came from those beginnings, and I would never tell anybody. But I was very motivated to make money from a young age, because I was the recipient of, kids can be cruel. So I was High Waters Krisstina, and, on the food stamp program, and just all these terrible things that you don't want to identify with as a kid, and, being labeled that way. So I was, like I said, I was motivated to make money. And I got good at making money. I got into real estate in my late 20s. I became a top performer, producer, actually here in Austin, Texas. And I actually got good at making it. So what does a poor girl do that, all of a sudden won the money lottery, in the sense I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And, that's more money than my parents made their entire lifetime I was making in a year. And so I thought I won the lottery. So what did I do? I bought everything I couldn't afford as a child. And I didn't just, buy it, but I leased everything. Everything was a payment. So that lifestyle seemed to work really well, because I was just making the money and I abdicated it. So I gave it to the person I was with to quote unquote manage it. And it all seemed to be working and fine until the day it didn't work anymore. And now I'm divorced. I'm a single mom. I have 2 kids. And I wasn't paying attention to the money. I was just making it and, dropping it off basically. And when coming out of that divorce, I ended up having to pay child support. I was on a 100% commission job. My business had tanked because I was in a divorce and fighting over the stuff versus worrying about my career. I was a working parent. And so, like I said, I paid child support, and come to find out, I didn't know that there was $100,000 of credit card debt and a $50,000 tax lien. So I came out of that situation, being divorced, being a single mom, being just broken based on all the emotional distress that came out of that just horrific divorce and experience. And now I'm broke. And now I'm worse than my parents, because not only am I in a situation where I can't pay my bills, I had to have colleagues from work that actually pitched in to pay our light bill. Talk about shame and humiliation. They hear I'm as an adult reliving my childhood. And my kids are now exposed to, oh yeah, mommy can't pay the bills, so we need to take charity to keep things going. So, I mean, I was in existential despair. And how the hell am I going to get out of $150,000 of debt on a 100% commission job as a single mother? Like, tell me how that's going to work out.
Wow.
I was scared to death. And I just thought, well, there's no way out but through. So there's got to be something to this money thing that I don't know. It's clearly not about making money, because I made a good amount of money and here I was broke. So that's where I busted the first money myth, is that most people think there's this myth out there that the answer to all my money problems is to make more money. And it's a big fat lie. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep, invest, and turn into real wealth. Period. End of story. How much money we make is so minute in the overall wealth building game. So we can be in the earning, make high income game, or we can be in the wealth building game. And that's what I learned, is that there's a distinction. They're very different. And 99% of the world talks about how to make more money, how to become a better business person, how to have more zeros to your business, how to be a 7-8 figure income earner. And it's all bullshit, because the part of that is, again, if we don't understand that it's about wealth building, not income building, and we change the mindset about wealth growth, not income growth, it's a fundamentally different trajectory. It's a fundamentally, foundationally different approach and applicability to how we money, how we finance. So that's what I went on to study. I just said, all right, I'm going to figure out this money thing. And I was, in my early 30s. Like I said, I put a course on my credit card, which was a Rich Dad, Poor Dad workshop that I couldn't afford. I don't even know how I had space on a credit card back then. And yeah, but it was that I made an investment in this learning before I had the money to do so. And it's the best investment I ever made. Is not only did I pay the $150,000 back after learning some basic knowledge within, 12 months or something, but I've gone on to build a fortune. But I've spent 2 decades studying money and applying those principles. And I'm just saying that people that are in the business game, it's bullshit. Yeah. Be in the wealth building game, and your business is just one small piece, but it's a piece. It's not the entire enchilada. And until we understand that, we will continue to spend all of our time in our business and not our time building our wealth and growing our money.
Man, this is just so many awesome things just came through from what you just said. So the first thing that came through is that there's no quick fix. So this applies not only to money, but also to health. And, especially when we're looking at money through the lens of health, there's no quick fix. Sustainable practices require effort, require knowledge, require systems, and require trust. Like, you really have to develop some sort of self-trust and then keep going with that. So that's amazing. I really honor you for that. Another thing that came through for me is patterns. So things that we go through as a child or when we're younger, patterns will recirculate until we learn our lesson. And nothing is random. And so that's so beautiful that you experience this, kind of shame spiral as a child, which you inherited, really. I talk a lot about family patterns and how, with health, with disease, with anything, you can break family patterns. And look how you're doing that for your children. I mean, I know Macy, and I've met your son, and, through your, basically through your shift, through your transition, through your uprising, I mean, these kids are going to be able to pay that forward for the rest of their lives for generations to come. So I love that. So patterns, family patterns, no quick fix, and really leaping before you're ready is almost what I'm hearing, ready, right? And so I can say that honestly, I did that with your program. I was I have no idea what I'm going to do. I don't know where this is going to come from. But I feel really I'm going to trust my intuition on this. And also, it's not just based on intuition. It's this person has done the thing that I really want to do. So that's freaking awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Can you speak to how your relationship with money impacts life and health? Your experience and in what you see with your clients or just people?
Yeah, I love that question. And everything is relationships. So we're either in healthy relationships or unhealthy or somewhere along that spectrum. And if we go to completely dysfunctional or diseased, right? So in your world, dysfunctional would be disease. and or healthy, so healthy disease, like the healthy state or disease state. And let's say the extreme of either one of those, and then whatever that spectrum is. So with relationships, it's like dysfunctional or healthy, diseased or healthy, very similar. So we have a relationship with life. I mean, it's in relations, like how we relate to things. And so, I have a relationship to my phone at a certain level, like, my relationship to it. Some people have unhealthy relationships with their phone, meaning their phone really owns them, right? And then other people more healthy, like, it's just, I'm not going to let that thing. So it's how we relate. And when it comes, and we all bring our baggage, because like to your point, our childhood stuff and what we bring forward that's how we entered the world, and we get stuck and those patterns become invisible. And, when it comes to being in relationships and healthy relationships, there's usually a lot of patterns to break. There's a lot of dysfunction to correct, and, and bring new awareness and all sorts of things. But the point is that we bring with us everything that we've been exposed to until the day we become more aware and we choose to break the cycle or to create something that's healthier. So like, again, in your world, people will come to you when they've bumped up against some type of disease or illness or sick or don't feel great or feel low energy or lethargic. And it's like, what the hell is going on? So it's like they're bumping up against something, and it's only this state that they don't feel good in that's causing them to want to do something different.
Right.
So but they don't feel good. So when it comes to, that causes people to want to finally do something different. When it comes to money, same thing. What is the relationship with money? And our relationship's everything. What's our relationship with our body? If I have a healthy narrative with my body and a healthy relationship with my body, I'm more likely to take care of it. Would you agree?
Sure, of course.
So if I love myself and I love my body for what my body can do, and I'm very appreciative and I have gratitude, and it's like, and I mean, I just sprained my foot, bad sprain. And I was on crutches for a couple of days, and I thought maybe I broke it. And it was just and so I couldn't yoga, I couldn't run, I couldn't do all these things I love to do. And it was just that reminder of, wow, I take my feet for granted, how amazing it is to have two ankles that work and what I get to do every single day. I'm hobbling around, and just how inconvenient it is and difficult, and I can't live my life the way I want to. So in the world of just not even illness, just injury. So in our relationship with money, it's looking at that same thing. It's like everything's built on our relationship to it. So how do we think that we can get good with money if we have a bad relationship with it? Oh, I know what I was going to say. In our relationship with our body, part of even the healing process was, I love you, body. Thank you so much for what you do for me. And I mean, I'm in yoga this morning, so I got back to yoga today, and in there, I'm just talking to my body as I'm laying on my mat saying, body, you did such a great job healing. Like, thank you so much. That was so much faster than I thought we could even do it. And you are such a rock star. And thank you. So it's like this great relationship with my body, like this gratitude of good job, but that makes me want to take care of it. So again, the healthy relationship with ourselves and our body, I want to eat well. I want to exercise. I want to do this out of gratitude and out of appreciation, out of love of, in this relationship to my body. Have I always had this relationship with my body? Hell no. I almost died in the process because I had a shitty relationship with my body. And I thought it was just a tool to use and abuse to get me what I wanted in life. And it was a completely unhealthy relationship with my body that ended up in disease, which nearly killed me. Same thing with our money. When our relationship with it is unhealthy, meaning if we say the word money, what's the automatic trigger? Is it a positive trigger or a negative trigger? Before pre-thought, it's a somatic experience. Like if I say the word money, 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 is it? A
lot of people right now even just saying that, right? I mean,
yeah. So what's that? Like a pre-thought, before you can label it, what's the somatic emotion? And if it is a negative charge in any form or fashion, we need to clean that up.
Yeah.
It's the first phase with money, because we're going to self-sabotage. If I don't like my body, if I hate myself as some dysfunctional thing, I will, I'll starve myself and can be anorexic until I kill myself, right? Because of the relationship. So the same thing with money. If we have a negative relationship with it, or a narrative or baggage or background that has a negative charge or a negative story in any form or fashion, even if we make a lot of money, we're going to self-sabotage and wind up without money because we think we don't deserve it, or we think money's a bad thing. So we can't accumulate. If we're good people, we can't accumulate, or we can't build or grow something that we think fundamentally is bad.
Totally.
So we're going to always wind up in the same position, because to stay in integrity with what we believe to be true, we're going to have to make it true that money's a bad thing, so I shouldn't have any. And that is so deeply underneath, and it just rules us. It's invisible ruling of how we operate our money, and just either want to stick our head in the sand, abdicate it, not talk about it, put it out there, just like, however our mode of dealing with the dysfunction is, or make a lot of it, but somehow it just falls through our fingers and we never have anything, and we're always broke still, no matter how much money we make. Somehow we're going to self-sabotage. So again, I can't emphasize the importance of being aware of what is our relationship to money, and that if we're going to build real wealth and become rich and, hit financial security and freedom and independence, or whatever word you want to give it, better damn sure make sure that you're working on your relationship, and you get to a place like, I love my money, I love my body, I love my people.
Yes. Yes. No, I love this so much. And so, God, I love your passion. I feel like it really mirrors mine. And I love being in circuit with really passionate people, especially about what they do with their career and their lives. And so one of the biggest takeaways from what you just talked about for me is, which I talk about all the time, it's actually the focus of the first month of my program. It's all about agreements. It's all about your agreements. Agreements manifest physical form. So agreements in relationships. And so if your agreement is that money is hard, or that health is hard, or that you're always going to be broke, or that you're always going to be sick, well, that you're in agreement with that, And so how do you show up for your, how do you show up for your money? How do you show up for your money date? I started a money date when I started working with you, and it changed my freaking life. Just that one little thing, because I'm actually putting eyes on it. I had someone ask me once, or talk about money in this way, where it's like, if money were a person, what would that relationship be like? Do you ignore that person? Do you show up for that person? Do you, and all these really cool. So then we did some really cool energetic practices around that. And it all started a lot with, you planting a lot of seeds that just opened up these like, wow, I really do need to stop ignoring my status around money and wealth. And even just from energetically stepping into that, shifting my agreement, things started to change, which is really, really cool. And so I love that. I love, because it's all energy. So I think that's why I feel so many parallels between how you talk about health, and how I feel about, how you talk about money and how I feel about health. So that really, really lights me up. Okay. So to wrap up,
let me add to that, if you don't mind. I was listening to this podcast this morning, and her name, it was on the Mind Valley podcast. Oh shoot, where's my phone? And her name is Teal, if I can find it really quickly. Not that her name matters, but it's Teal Swan.
Yeah.
And have you heard of her? Mm-hmm. So anyway, it was really great. And she's talking about relationships, and she has a book that's called The Anatomy of Loneliness. I've not read, but it sounds fascinating. She was fascinated on this podcast. But she said, when it comes to relationships, she said, it's very interesting is that relationships, obviously we talk about love, and let's say loving another person. And she said, but it's not about love, actually. She said, it's about, when it comes to relationships, it's about being seen, heard, and understood. And when we feel loved, when we feel seen, heard, and understood, and others feel loved, like if we're in a friendship or whatever relationship, let's just pretend we're in a love relationship, and you feel seen, like I see you, and you feel understood, like I listen to you and I really work to understand you. And so, and you feel like I feel your emotions, I can empathize. You're going to feel loved. That's how we feel loved. It's like, wow, that person really sees me. They understand me. They hold space for me. They're there. We're present. So I really love that. And she said, but it's really the understanding of, let's say, the other person. And she said, it's really interesting, actually. She said, this really is one of those things that make me laugh. And she said, so when we get interested in something, let's say passionately interested in something, and she said, let's say, for example, surfing. And so now all of a sudden I want to be a surfer. What do? We go research the hell out of it. And we talk to people, and we just become so deeply immersed in the understanding of surfing. Like, what is the best board and the best wax and the best waves? And we just become so passionately interested in understanding what it takes to become a surfer, to become surfing. She said, so then when we then understand and gain all this knowledge and super excited, and now we get on the board and now we're a surfer, it's the applied knowledge, but it's the applied understanding of it was the seek to understand it in the first place, that what we do with things that we're passionately interested in. She said, but when it comes to relationships, do we do that? Do we go and let me just passionately research you and understand you and know you? And that type of thing. Like she said, it's in the understanding and the learning and understanding that like healthy relationships exist. People know each other. We don't have to say this is how I'm feeling, because your other partner already knows how you're feeling when they really understand you. Yeah. So I really love that, like in a personal relationship. But again, when we go back to something, let's say like money or anything for that matter, it's that if we're going to have a healthy relationship with money, then it's, we want to have an understanding of it, because we want to see our money, we want to feel our money, we want to touch our money, we want to understand our money in a way that is intimacy. And that's what intimacy is the connection between being seen, felt, and understood in a reciprocal type of relationship. So we want to be intimate with our money. And when we have an intimacy in our way with our money, then we approach it very differently. Like you said, the agreement is different. The agreement is, I love you. The agreement is, I want to understand you. The agreement is, I know the good that you can do. The agreement is, when we're going to grow and do these things together, we're going to do great things and make big impact in the world that we can't do that if I'm broke month to month.
Right.
And if I'm just stressed out all the time and financial this and financial that and arguments, like that's going to produce the exact opposite of doing great work and making a big impact in the world. So again, to that relationship stuff, the just be seen, heard, and understood, I think it can be so applicable to like every category of life.
That's the exact word I was just thinking. I'm like, holy crap, that's so applicable to anything that you want to master, or that you want to become a version of yourself that knows about that is fully confident in that. Like for me right now, I've never been good at exercise. I'm good at health, I'm good at eating, I'm good at supplements, but so I hired a personal trainer and I've been working with her for several months, and now I feel like I'm getting good. But it's taken mentorship, it's taken guidance, and it's taken my genuine interest in understanding like what greater impact can I have for my body, for myself, for my clients, for really a multidimensional perspective in terms of getting really comfortable with this aspect of my life that has always made me feel weird. So that's freaking awesome. Thank you for that. Last question is, what's like the one thing, I was going to ask you 3 best things, but let's just do, your top thing, or if you want to name a couple, that's fine. To have people start to shift from lack and scarcity mindset to that of prosperity consciousness. Like what are just a couple of things that, or maybe the top thing that comes to mind that can get people to start that shift?
So, I mean, to me, what I think a lot of it to do the shift is working with people like you, or to even people like me. It's to reach outside of our comfort zone, to set, I don't like the word goals because I'm not a big goal setter, but to set a big vision,
I like vision.
Just to like, what is my vision? Why am I here in a way? Not like my passion or my purpose. I mean, those are big philosophical questions. But why am I like here right now? Like, what am I capable of? What is my potential? Even if I don't know my passion, purpose, those things take time. And, I don't think we like sit on top of a mountain and figure them out. But it's like, what is my potential? I like that word better than passion or purpose.
Wow.
So to me, abundance is attached to potential. And our time here is to max out our potential, because my potential of why I'm here is different than your potential of why you're here. And your job is to just to max out that potential, to fully live up to the potential that Laura is and why she's here, and just keep doing your magic. And it's growth, and we're always growing, we're always changing, we're always iterating. If we're aware, and if we want to be present, and we want to live big lives, and big lives just means bold potential. And so when we orient ourselves from the place, this is my potential, and goddamn, I'm going to like live up to it. I'm going to grow into it. I'm going to make that happen. That's the mindset. The mindset is, I own me. I own what I'm here to max out, for nobody else's business but my own. Because this is my journey. My journey's here for me to max out my potential, not to make anybody else happy or to think great things of me.
Yes.
So I think when we get there, then that is abundance, because abundance is abundant about me being me. And then moving towards that, and every mini success that is growing, or new awareness, or new lesson learned that now I get to apply, I'm maxing out potential towards abundance. And I'm actually in abundance every step of the way. I'm working in my potential. So it's not a thing to achieve. Like, it's out there, like abundance is out there somewhere, or money's out there on trees. I could go chase it and find it. Or career success, something out there. Let me go find the tree it exists on. Like, I can go chase it and get it. It's right here, right now. It's a choice in the moment. And it's beyond a mindset. It's a way of being. It's a belief structure of life is so fucking abundant, and I'm in it, and I'm in my potential, and I'm living it, and I'm doing the best I've got today, and I'm going to own this, and I'm just going to show up. And sometimes I show up broken, and sometimes I show up like now, like a fucking badass. And any given day, it could be either side of the spectrum, but I'm showing up that day to whatever's presented. Yes. Because that's the way life is. So abundance is just, it's a way of being, of choosing that I'm going to live into my potential. I'm going to live into awareness. I'm going to live into making choices that are hard. I'm going to live inside not playing it safe, because abundance is on the other side of safety. Like on the other side of comfort, I guess is a better word. So, you have to get uncomfortable to experience abundance. And when we get through there, it's like, holy cow, I didn't even know I was capable of that. I just blew my own mind with, type of thing. Right. And then you keep doing that. Yeah. And then you realize that there's no potential to get to either, that we're just, we're just completely expanding and expanding and expanding. So when we can get there, it's just, you just own it. And it's just a belief structure and way of being that it's just, you just walk into the world, like this abundant world, is that there's plenty. We live in the land of plenty. Ooh. But we also have to understand that plenty is not about more.
Right.
So sometimes we think more is a place of abundance. And I mean, I've probably, even where my personal life is, I was mentioning to a friend today, I said, I find it really funny is that, through this last ass kicking that I've been through, and just this complete, getting leveled and annihilated, in a personal relationship. And I just was in such a dark place, a bad place there for a while. But on the other side of it, it's like, I'm just so glad I went through that experience. Like, I am just becoming the best version of me I've ever been. And I didn't even think that was capable 90 days ago. But it was the idea of, even in light of this last light event, it created a lot of uncertainty for me. Like, I'm in a place of more uncertainty that I've been in for a long time, probably since the last event. Well, I guess my illness was in 2013 on my deathbed. That was a lot of uncertainty. So probably since then, coming out of that. And then it's like, so I have so much uncertainty and in my life right now. And I'm not sure I've ever been happier.
Wow.
So, but it's coming into this, like, all right, bring it. What's next? Let's go. And it's really getting to the place of, there's plenty. I don't need to be stuck in scarcity or limitation or fear, sense of loss, and all the stuff that, is gone. Let's move into the next stage of abundance and awareness and lessons learned, and just live with the uncertainty, and okay, let's go. What's next? So this is our spiritual journey, and it's just knowing that it's like this at the end of the day.
You were talking about surfing. I'm like,
yeah, there we go. Ride the waves. So yeah, just to, to close that all up, it's the way I see it, there's like three parts of life that are non-negotiable. I mean, we need to play these three parts to live a good life, to live an abundant life, if we're going to use that word. And one is the money game. If you're going to live an abundant life, you need financial abundance. You have to know what that is. You need to know the number. You need to understand money. You have to have a healthy relationship with it. And that's what I teach. I can help everybody have a healthy relationship with money and build wealth and financial abundance. That's what I do. You know it, an exact methodology. And that's what I do. I teach people how to money so that they can have a healthy relationship to it and they can build their financial fortune. So I help them master the money game of life. The second game of life is what you do, and that is health. And we can't get out of it. I was there. I mean, I had plenty of money and I was dying. So I learned the lesson of like, okay, well, all the money in the world doesn't matter when you're not healthy and you can't, go experience all that hard work. And, because I sacrificed my health for wealth. And so that was it. Like, all the money in the world doesn't matter. If you're sick, you'll give every dollar away to get your health back, which is pretty much what I did in that situation. You think Steve Jobs, do you think he would have given his last billionth dollar away to still be here today if that money could have saved his life? Probably. Right? So we'll give our last dollar away to be healthy. I mean, because health and being here alive and vital, like vitality, is what life is all about. And you don't realize that till you lose your health. So mastering really the game of health, to be healthy, body, mind, and spirit, is something we want to get good at, right? To understand and have a good relationship with health and the physical, mental, and spiritual abundance that comes with that. Then the third category of life that I think is non-negotiable to get good at if we're going to live a great, an abundant life, is relationships. Definitely. And to master, don't know if you ever master them, but just to really seek to understand and to learn. And there's a lot to know about relationships. But in money, health, and relationships, these most non-negotiable, the three most important things that need to be healthy to live the most meaningful, rewarding, abundant, happy, fulfilled life are the three things we don't spend any time getting good at. Investing in, to develop, to learn the applied knowledge that we can bring to our relationships that would make us a better partner. Yeah. Right? To learn health, to work with health coaches, to get really good at health so that we can be vital and know the things and have that expertise. And then again, with money, tell me something more important there is to get good at than money.
I mean, and for me, like, what really jumps out is like the relationship with yourself is the starting point for all of those things, lifting the veils, lifting the barriers that are self-created, and also that have been passed down to you and have been implanted in your perception. So many mic drop moments from you, Krisstina. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to watch this again. I love your passion. It's really fuel for me. I can't wait to share this with everyone too. And if you want to get to know Krisstina a little bit better, you can follow her on Facebook. What's the best way for anyone to kind of get in touch with you if they want to know about your program or anything?
Yeah, so I actually do like 30-minute money coaching calls, and anybody can set up a call with me if they just want. I call myself like the money therapist. What a lot of people do is just call and they have nobody else to just dump on in a healthy way. Like, that's why we go to a therapist, because it's safe, it's confidential, and it's a place where we can just come clean, really. So
that was my way as well. So and it was life-changing, just those 30 minutes. I mean, it started this really amazing cascade of events that now brings me more into my power with money more than ever.
Yeah, and you've done, and yours is like watching you bloom out of everything and see this is you've done, like, you are such a joy to watch, girlfriend. So anybody, if they just want like a 30-minute money therapy or money coaching consulting, I do that. And that's just Krisstina.com/call.
Amazing.
And, K and 2 S's. And then otherwise just Google me and it's pretty easy to find me.
Yeah, for sure. And then if you're interested in learning more about Radiance Revolution in terms of the 6-month program, where we cover all things health, including money, including physical body, including, heavy metal and chemical toxicity, gut health, food sensitivities, all the things. I will be interviewing lots and lots of other experts as well, because it's time to really shine light on all of this. We don't need to suffer unnecessarily anymore. So thank you again, Krisstina. I really appreciate you and your time, and I hope y'all enjoy. Thanks.
Great.